Good morning, everybody. Mr. Paddling Pastor here, and it's a beautiful Sunday morning. I'm getting ready to go to church and worship with all of God's good people. I'm ready to give a sermon, and I've been just really thinking about the message I gave last week, and I started preaching in the book of James, and James chapter 1 is where I'm at. I just started there, and one of the things that I really talked about is so applicable to paddling, and actually I use a paddling example to illustrate what I was talking about. But in James chapter 1, there in the opening, he really says, to count it all joy, brothers, when trials come your way. And I'm paraphrasing, but he also says that, know that it's going to create in you perseverance, and perseverance is, when it does its full work, is going to leave you perfect and lacking nothing. And there's a mental thing that I think that we go through sometimes. I think at times we can kind of get like just in this mental bind where we are unsure, where we are struggling. It's just, for a lack of a better way of putting it, is the yips. And as I was preaching to my congregation, I was telling them about how we need to approach obstacles and have our mind right going into it, because we can either let the situation dictate terms to us, or we can go into things with the right mindset, and we can dictate how we're going to approach that thing. And I was just talking about how we need to do that when we're on the river, how we have to, when we see certain obstacles, we can't just shy away from them, because if we just kind of, shy away from them, like what our natural reaction would be, then things are not going to turn out well. And how we have to learn to take a more aggressive approach. And, as I'm thinking about that, something I've been battling in my mind is just getting in this weird bad habit where I'm not in that aggressive approach, taking hard strokes, leaning forward like I had been doing for a while. Now, for some reason, I've gotten this bad habit, and I'm kind of leaning back. So I'm just kind of in that spot where I'm just stuck, and I'm hitting a wall, and there's some bad habits that I'm trying to break. And I started trying to do that a little bit when my wife and I and the kids, we took a trip. Shout out to my beautiful wife. She's smart and determined sometimes, and she decided to make a career change, and she is pursuing a career in functional health, functional medicine. And I know this is kind of like a little bit of a right turn, but I'm going to bring this all back around. We took this trip for her graduation. We wanted to show the kids the results of all your hard work and accomplishing something. And so we did that, and then we traveled, and we drove. We were in Connecticut, and Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, and Maine. And I got to paddle some whitewater in Maine along the way, and I don't have any footage of that. Unfortunately, the gear was all rented, and I didn't really have a good mount for my GoPro. But my wife and kids did get to hike up there and to a place where they could see me coming through one of the bigger rapids, Coliseum. It was the lower Winnipesaukee that I was on there in Franklin, I believe it is, New Hampshire. I hope I got that right. But anyway, as I was on the river there, I was having to learn how to do some things, and I got messed up. I made mistakes and what have you, and flipping over and things that I shouldn't have been doing. Like, I was just in my head. But the guy who took me out was an instructor. His name is escaping me at the moment. I think it was David. If not, I'll get his name right and I'll put his name in the comments correctly. I'm terrible with names, so dude, if you're watching this, don't take offense. I'm terrible with names. But he was teaching me to have a more aggressive, forward-leaning stroke and position, and we went through the second half of Coliseum, I believe it was, and there's a railroad trestle bridge, right? And we decided to go and scout that. He showed me what it looked like, and so we get out, we scout it, and he says there's a couple of different lines, and we took the boof line, and boofing big ledges and things of that nature is something I haven't done a whole lot of, but I have done that. But he was just telling me, coaching me through those strokes, and instead of shying away from what I was approaching, I took it head on. And I got messed up a little bit on the first run, but I hit the boof, and on the second run I came through it clean, hit the boof beautifully. But if I would have leaned back and I would have retreated, I would have given up my edges. I would have flipped, and I was learning those things. And so I told my congregation that when we lean away from the rock, when we lean away from the waves, sometimes we're letting the water dictate things to us, and I don't want us to let life or the water dictate anything to us. We need to work with it. We need to approach it in the right manner and dictate how we're going to maneuver through life. And so that was the mindset that James is trying to teach in the beginning. He's trying to get everybody's head right, because James is about to lay some heavy stuff on the people. And so I'm hoping to build upon that this morning. And anyway, God bless. I hope that you all can be encouraged and understand that we got to train our brains to think of things and approach things in the right manner, and not just let life dictate things to us. Be aggressive, forward posture, throw good hard strokes in life, and I think that we can come out stronger and better and lacking nothing in the end, just as James says. So love you all. God bless. Hopefully you enjoy the little clip that I inserted in there of the kids getting to watch me go through a rapid. That was pretty cool for them to be able to witness that and see that. So until next time, keep on paddling.